podcast in English. Um, I might be having a little bit of an internet issue here. I'm not sure what's going on. I think I hit something again. But anyways, special edition of the show. Obviously, title of the show, Messi to PSG. So obviously, something huge in the soccer world had to happen for us to come on a special night, Tuesday night, because we obviously do the regular show on Thursdays. Um, but before we get into all that, man, what's
And he froze.
He froze, yeah.
By the way,
Yo,
I'm Aurelio. Thanks for being here with us. Like Mark was saying, it's going to be a different kind of show. I'm like it's something that we all were kind of expecting that would happen, and it happened, and we're here.
that's right.
So, Fidel,
Yeah, man. So if you don't know, we're talking about Messi all show long. So thanks for being here with us. Just want to let you guys know right ahead of game, we do have a Twitter account popping up right now. So if you want to look us up, you can go ahead and look us up as La Banca _ podcast. Hit us up, give us a follow, and of course, we're gonna be in contact with you guys through Twitter. Go ahead, Mark.
I'm back. I think I don't know. I'm trying to work this thing out. I must have hit something, but yeah, guys. Obviously, this whole episode, this thing is going to be based on Messi. Obviously, the big news last week. I believed on Thursday. I was chilling in a sauna in Austin. Trying to get the stink off loss.
it was a sauna of tears.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sweating, and crying at the same time.
Sure.
Unfortunately, Messi and Barcelona could not.
That's right. Like Mark just said, Barcelona and Messi are no longer on the same side. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, Aurelio. I mean, Mark is going to be coming in and out. Unfortunately, he doesn't have good signal at this time, but we are going to be talking about Messi and the whole concept of the whole thing, how it happened. So, Aurelio, let me go ahead and get started with you. Everybody was speculating that Barcelona was going to go ahead and sign Messi on Thursday evening. But around 8 o'clock at night on our time, Central Time, uh, we got the news that Messi and Barcelona were no longer affiliated. It was all over Twitter, I mean, social media, Twitter, you can name it, Instagram, whatever. And then the chaos started. So both parts couldn't get not the agreement, but what they couldn't get was the contract through the league. And according to Barcelona, and even according to Messi, because he did speak about it later on, the message was that the league did not approve the contract. So, what do you think, Aurelio? What's going on?
It's hard. I'm like Barcelona had. I'm like they had already kind of talked about it, the saying that they weren't going to approve it unless there was some structural change on the team, including players, the massive salary wage that they have, and unfortunately, I want to say they tried. They tried, and they were hoping that maybe the league would have a little bit of sympathy for them, just because they might have tried, but at the end of the day, they couldn't crunch those numbers down, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Mark?
What was the question? I think I got the end of it.
So, I mean, we were just talking about what happened. I mean, we were speculating that Messi was going to sign on Thursday night, and all of a sudden, it was a 360, and it was a shocker to everybody. Messi couldn't sign. I mean, Laporta informed Messi's dad and Messi that the league didn't approve the contract. So, it was just devastating. And what do you think went wrong there, and what do you think happened?
Yeah, man, it's a lot of rumors, man, going on. Especially with that meeting and how everything happened. Obviously, Leo and his dad George were in Barcelona inside the stadium, ready to sign away and commit his whole rest of his career to Barcelona. But obviously, with the financial crisis of the COVID and things like that, and having to reduce payroll, and La Liga putting a much firmer stance on their alleged, salary cap or whatever where they needed to be at. Um, they didn't meet the requirement, and unfortunately, they couldn't fit Messi's contract into the payroll. So that meant Messi couldn't sign at that time. I mean, they still had the deadline of the 31st, to get it done. But obviously, Messi's team wanted to get it done prior before the season started. You know, and unfortunately for Laporta, he wasn't able to sell off the players that he needed to get the wages off the team. But I mean, he already knew where he needed to be at, and he knew where he needed to go and what players he needed to get rid of. I mean, obviously, some of these players made it a little bit difficult. I know, obviously, there was talks about fans outside of the practice stadium booing Griezmann because he didn't want to go. But I mean, but they're booing the wrong person. You know, Griezmann didn't give Griezmann the money that he's making. You know, there, you know, he's making what he makes, and he deservedly um, earns that. You know, because he was a great player, Atletico. You know, but regardless of that being said, I mean, it's an unfortunate thing. Obviously, this wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for the COVID situation. This COVID situation really opened up a lot of things about clubs around the world, not just Barcelona, but obviously Barcelona being the biggest club, you know, being affected by this. Um, it just shows that a lot of clubs are running on credit instead of running the way they're supposed to. So, but you know, unfortunately, what happened, and Messi's going to Paris.
So that's exactly my point, because who do you blame? Do you blame La Liga for not giving a lot of these clubs tax cuts, or exempting a lot of things like your budget, right? Or extending your budget, or giving you some money back as an incentive because of COVID? Or do you blame Laporta for not consulting the Liga before the contract even was sent to get signed? Or do you blame Bartomeu for signing all these players who Barcelona is not even using anymore or haven't been so productive per se, right? Or do you blame the players who haven't reduced a lot of their wages because they don't have, I mean, because they know the club is already in debt and they want to stay there and they want to play there, but they're getting paid an exaggerated amount of salary. So who do you blame? You know, Messi even said it in himself. I took a 50% pay cut just to stay here, you know, and the team didn't ask me for anything else for me to do on my behalf. I mean, do you really want me to pay for free, which is something that I don't think any player should do it, or would do it, right? And just because it's expensive. I mean, you look at France, you look at Europe, you look at La Liga in Spain. I mean, they literally take almost 40% of your paycheck in taxes. So it's ridiculous. So the question here is, who do you blame? I
The
mean,
club.
and I think you blame everybody. Oh, go ahead,
Yeah,
Aurelio.
you blame the club. At the end of the day, they were spending way too much money on players they should have never spent. Their salary bill is through the roof before COVID.
Mhm.
Um, you have to understand that something eventually is going to happen. As 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 let's say us as middle class workers, we get a paycheck. What do we do with that check? You pay bills. You have some for entertainment, and whatever you can, you put aside for a rainy
Hmm.
day.
Right.
So I'm like, you can't blame a player for not cutting their salary because they sign a contract that states this is what we're going to pay you. Because if it was the other way around, if they were only to pay you so much, but the team made $4 billion, they're not going to give any percentage of that to any player. Why? Because it's not on a contract.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
So you
it's
can't blame players. I'm like, at the end of the day, you have to blame the club the way they mishandled their money in paying these amounts for players that honestly don't really contribute to the team. On top of that, paying the salaries they're paying.
But Laporta inherited
No, no,
this
I'm not gonna
from
blame.
Bartomeu. From
You
Bartomeu.
can't. You
That's all I'm
can't.
saying.
um
Like I said, I'm blaming the club. I
yeah.
can't blame Laporta because I know he just got elected. But you have to understand that, and Barcelona should take this into consideration next time they're going to elect a new president, what their intentions are. Because as you can see, what the last president did is having an effect right now. Yes, nobody expected COVID. I completely understand that. But at the end of the day, we all have to be prepared for anything. We can't expect that every day and every year is going to be a shiny day, 75 degrees. You're going to have your rainy days, you have your snow days, you can have really hot days.
Right.
Yeah. In the chat, our buddy Hattie, what's up, Hattie? Laporta and Bartomeu are both to blame. He also says, "Yep, when the axe falls, the way it did, the club was definitely responsible for bad spending. But Laporta, as head of the club, worked with the Liga. I find it hard to believe that he was blindsided." And and obviously, and some replies back, Laporta just inherited what Bartomeu did. He didn't have enough time to fix it, enough to keep Messi. I can see the there between them. Obviously, if I'm gonna blame, either president, obviously most of it is gonna fall on Bartomeu. But I also understand what Aurelio is saying that as a club, even regardless of which president was in charge, the overspending, the exaggeration of wages that were given to these players,
Of
because
Bartomeu.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
obviously,
no, yeah.
it's something that really came back and bit them. Obviously, and the worst thing about it is, let's say if COVID never happened, we probably, as a club, we probably never even know that these things are happening. The mismanagement of money, the way it was, because I mean, we know why players come to Barcelona and Real Madrid, not just for the prestige, but because these two clubs pay the biggest wages. You know, and prior, during Laporta's first tenure, it was a more, hey, we're growing players from our academy, this and that. We're just going to sprinkle in players from other places that we need to cover some things. But then when the Bartomeu era came in, obviously he put the thing on gas and started bringing in, world class players and plugging in and band-aiding problems that the club was suffering. Obviously with losing players or losing star players like Neymar and things like that. But regardless of the fact, the Messi contract thing right now, I think it was, for Laporta to base his presidential election based off, I'm going to bring Messi back, and then to get to the 11th hour and have him there and still not be able to do it, it kind of sucks in a way, because if as a fan and then the supporters who actually elected him over there in Barcelona, it feels a little bit of a slap in the face. And I understand, where probably, Messi's dad, George, felt betrayed a little bit because he felt that he used his son to win the election, his son's name to win the election. And then, to obviously not come out with the result that they wanted, with both of them wanting Messi to end up in Barcelona. It's a shame. It's a complete, black eye to the club, in general, because you obviously you're losing the best player in your history, you know, and you're losing him free. You know, it's a big disgrace. But regardless of the fact, I mean, Laporta, I mean, he tried to do what he could. Obviously, you can't move players if the players don't want to move. So I can't really place the blames too much on the players. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of players that I would love to have seen move on, like Umtiti, maybe Cortinho, Miran Pajic is going to move to Juventus, but obviously his contract's not enough to put Messi's contract in there. But it's a shame. But here we are.
But here's my question: could Barcelona had signed Messi when Laporta came in January or February or something like that? Could they have signed Messi for an extension even before the time was up? I mean, could they have done something about it? I mean, could Laporta even had sold all his players during the transfer season in the summer? I mean, could he have moved? Because what it looked to me, it was like he was just sitting there. He was just
Well,
sitting
see,
there making little here, there, and there, and nobody was moving. Coutinho wasn't moving, and Umtiti wasn't moving. Griezmann wasn't moving. I mean, La Cantera was moving. Nobody was moving. What's
you
going
bring
on?
no. You bring up a great point, and this is where sometimes we forget that we can kind of place a little bit of the blame on Messi's camp too, because if honestly, if Messi wanted to sign in January, he could have signed in January, right? And before this whole salary cap thing was in place, or or whatever the situation was. But obviously, as a player, especially for a player his stature, we know that his career is closer to the end than it is from the beginning, right? So he wanted to make sure that he was in a position where he's going to be somewhere where he's going to have a good plan going on, a good environment, and plus where he can enjoy his last couple of years playing soccer. And at that time in January, Barcelona was still in the turmoil. They still don't know what was going on. The presidential election didn't even conclude in January the way it was supposed to, you know, and just a lot of chaos in Barcelona. So I mean, he could have signed back then, but obviously we see the reason why he didn't, you know.
Right.
So
Okay.
Hattie on the chat, I'm sorry, hey guys, Hattie on the chat says, could La Liga have blocked Messi had he did not become like I said, just like we mentioned, obviously if he would have signed in January before he became a free agent, La Liga wouldn't have blocked it, because there was no restriction. They were still under the 2021 fiscal year for the La Liga. Now they're in the 2021-22 fiscal year for La Liga. So this whole new rules, whole new budget, whatever the case is. But obviously, like we just stated prior, Messi's camp obviously during that time period in January, Barcelona was still in a turmoil stage, and he didn't want to commit his future to Barcelona at that time, which you can't really blame the player, especially if the club's atmosphere was still toxic and there was still no leader elected during that time period. But
Yeah.
Guys, let me ask you. I mean, obviously, so the whole thing with Messi in Barcelona, obviously we can go hours on that, but let's talk about him and in the future, man. Obviously Paris Saint-Germain is a great project going on over there. They've done fantastic in the summer transfer window, signing top-notch players on the free, not spending no money, on the free. You're arguably getting one of the top 5 best goalkeepers, and Giorgio Donnarumma, who
Right.
is 21 years old still, getting him for free. Wijnaldum, who's a world-class midfielder, who Champion League winner experience, Premier League winner experience for free,
Who
you
was
know,
supposed to go to Barcelona?
who was supposed to go to Barcelona, but PSG has the money and their finances are a lot better, so they triple his wages. So I mean, it's kind of funny because Paris might be the future Madrid and Barcelona. If we'll see. But I mean, but at this moment, they have the finances. Their finances are good. They got that money, that backing, and they're doing what they can. They want to succeed. They want to be the number one brand in soccer, in the world of soccer, and they got the players to do it. We'll see what happens, but they got to start winning big things.
Bueno, Samaria Campos over here saying it almost smells like revenge on Messi from last summer and a hard end into his time, right? Haiti says, could La Liga, well, you already read that, right? But Samaria Campos says the winter window was almost non-existent with teams navigating and figuring out COVID alone. I think that's one of my biggest things, to a certain extent, you got to really think about it, right? Could the leagues have done like an exemption or something to help out teams some way somehow, like an incentive, or maybe even make their salary cap a little bit bigger or something, just to contribute to it, right, Aurelio? Because to a certain extent, and that's why I mentioned, who has the blame here, we understand we understand Laporta inherit a messed up and in-depth Barcelona from Bartomeu, right? Because he brought in Arturo Vidal, he brought in players Coutinho that didn't perform. I mean, he just brought in players to replace Neymar Dembele that didn't work out, that just really just put the team in a bad position, right? And at the same time, these players were getting paid for absolutely nothing, right? And then the league, COVID hit, and the league just goes broke, right? All over the world, all the leagues. So could have they made an exemption and say, hey, look, we're in a catastrophe, we're in a pandemic, we're going to allow you guys to go in depth $300 million. We're going to allow you guys to go in depth $50 million, whatever the case may be, or we're going to give you as a league a $50 million incentive just because we can do that, and we need you guys to recover so that we can go ahead and win more money in the future, and you can pay us as we go, something, right? And that's why I say that. And it's interesting that the Samaria Campos says those things. To a certain extent, I just believe that to a certain time frame, Laporta knew this. I mean, how could you not consult the league on the contract that you have for Messi and find out if it was thumbs up to go, good to go, before Messi even saw it and signed it? I mean, if Messi signed it, his dad signed it, Barcelona signed it, and sent it to the league, and the league rejected it, I mean, come on. That's unprofessionalism.
Yeah.
That's a waste of time, and that's why a lot of people are speculating. Oh, De La Porta used this as a way to win presidency and all this and that. Of course, some way somehow, right? And then now he's on vacation, just not dealing with all this chaos. But what good does this bring to Barcelona? The new players, are they going to play a different style of game because everything was through Messi while Messi was in Barcelona? So, what new things do we bring to Barcelona, Aurelio? I mean, you tell me, what do we have to, or what can we expect from Barcelona now with all these young guys from La Cantera bringing all this talent in, and at the same time, some experience? What do you think?
It's going to be interesting. Like I said, we're all normally. I'm not the biggest Barcelona fan at all. To me, I think Messi's probably one of the, if not the best player in my generation. It's going to be weird seeing a team that you normally see a certain player play on that team and not be there. But at the end of the day, I'm like, we're all adults. We all know eventually a cycle has to end, and unfortunately, ended this way. But on the players, I would have to go in there and see. I know they had a couple of signings they brought in on free. I know Memphis Depay. I know Kunawero are on the team, but I would have to see what else they have. I know they had a couple players with the national team in Tokyo as well. I know Pedri, which I think that kid needs to have a month off at
Definitely.
least.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least I'm like he's already saying that he's ready to go back to the training camp. As I don't know who this kid's agent is and the coach need to set him down and lead him. They need to lock him off the training grounds. They need to protect this kid because
Hmm.
Yeah.
at that age, Fidel, you would know him like you could probably we would play every weekend, 2-3 games, 2-3 years in a row, nonstop.
Yeah,
But I'm like, you have to protect him. They have to find a way to lock him up and just set him somewhere
they're
for
scared. They're
for
scared of him.
for,
Yeah.
for at least 3 weeks, 3 weeks to a month.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's why, and I think they'll do the right thing with him. I mean, obviously, I know as a young kid, as probably what Pedri's thinking, like he wants to go in there guns blazing. He's had a fantastic summer, obviously with being named, the Euro top 11 for Euro 2020, and obviously he had a great Olympics as well, winning silver medal with Spain. But obviously somewhere in the Barcelona archery, somebody needs to talk to him and tell him, hey, chill a little bit, take a little bit of a break. You'll come in, don't worry, your place is here secured. You're one of our future, you're a future player. You're one of our cornerstones of the franchise. But obviously, the Messi era ending the way it did, it's unfortunate. Obviously, as a Barcelona fan, I'm a huge Barcelona fan. They're my favorite team in the world. Um, it's sad, to see that. But I mean, but I'm not. I'm sad more because I wanted to, I would have loved to see Messi retired, playing on the pitch, not the, not, and with the Barcelona jersey on. You know, it might happen in the future. Who knows? Well, we never know in the world of soccer what can happen. But unfortunately, it happened the way it did. But the future is bright for Barcelona. Honestly, I mean, like I said, like we spoke about in the Spanish show, with the talent that they currently have, I don't see any reason for them not to be competing for a league title or for a Copa del Rey or things like that. I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to be one of the top teams in Europe competing for Champions League. Who knows? Maybe you never know, because I mean, you have young players who can step up. Maybe they take it to their next level,
Right.
and they carry the team like Barcelona. I mean, you have a lot of young players, Pedri, who we just mentioned, Frankie De Jong, the Joe Gamper Trophy that was just given out this last couple of days ago against Juventus. Joseph Dermat, who played the number 10 role in that game, fantastic game. Ansu Fati, how he mentioned in the chat, is going to come back. He might be a little bit slow coming off a meniscus tear and an ACL tear, but obviously we know Ansu Fati, before all the injuries that happened to him, he was kind of being crowned as the future, along with like Mbappe and Haaland. So we'll see what happens, man. There's a lot of future here. Barcelona. One thing that Barcelona's always had is great youth players coming out from La Masia. Unfortunately, a lot of them have escaped and gone to other clubs. But now maybe we can get that pipeline going again and getting these young players to the first team and having players that really want to play for the crest and for the shirt.
or some experience,
Yeah.
just listening to some of our listeners right here. Haiti says clubs had to be smart. Examples was Arsenal um pulling in our ordinary, or I'm sorry,
Odegaard.
Odegaard, right, and which helped pull them out of the 15th place, which is really good in December, right? Financial distress hurts the clubs and can be a big focus, but it shouldn't, right? And then Samari Campos says, I think all of y'all's points are good and shows the lack in both Barcelona and La Liga. And it's scary. It's a scary thing for La Liga going forward, right? Because as we know it, La Liga is going to lose a lot, not just economically, but advertisement. Messi was the face of La Liga. Messi is the face of football, right? Somebody here also says the youth is looking very great and bright for Barcelona, and they have some great signings in the moving forward, right? Which is good for Barcelona because we think, so what now, right? Messi's gone, so what do we do now, right? We got to really invest in this youth, which is not something big to worry about because Barcelona grows players in La Masia, which is one of the best teams that does this. The other team that does this great that I can think of is Ajax, and that's it. Barcelona and Ajax are the only two teams that I can think of that can do this really good, right? Haiti says Ansu Fati is also getting out of injury and being healthy. Plus, Dest is improving, which is true. Dest plays really different when he's in Barcelona. He's more confident. He's more relaxed. He gives passes. He touches the ball. He's more active. And I think with Messi not being there, he's gonna even have more opportunities. Just because I think everybody feels that when they have the ball, they have to look for Messi. And now they can be themselves. They can just play to anybody, not worry about if anybody else is not gonna ask for the ball or want the ball, right? So that's interesting. And then somebody here says they are not as far off from a top team as you would think, which is true. All they need is experience. Our friend Luis Padilla also says there's people that they want to see Messi as a face of football. We are the people. We are the people. He is the face of football. When you talk about soccer, you talk to anybody that doesn't understand soccer, and you ask them about football. My wife, she doesn't know anything about football, and I say, "Yo, baby, football." And she goes, "Oh yeah, they're talking about Messi again," and I'm like, "Yeah, of course, it's the only thing." Aurelio?
So he's over here talking on the chat, but it's not on the actual show.
It's a funny thing, man. Obviously,
He's drunk.
it's crazy, man. Because I mean, I threw this question out to y'all in the chat earlier, on our personal chat, whatever. But like a lot of reasons why Barcelona and like Real Madrid before when they have Ronaldo and all that stuff were considered like really top teams, and they still are. I mean, don't get me wrong; they have a lot of talent. They buy talent, but like now that Messi's gone, it's like think about it. Like who's the best player in La Liga now? Like who like you can't really just think somebody off top of your head, right? And because you have a lot of players who are really equal in different areas, or some people who are a lot better in different areas. Messi was just all around superior, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like Messi was just all around. Not only did he give you the goals, he gave you the assists. He gave you the dribbles. He gave you the velocity needed, to go, surpass the defenders to go create something. He was a creator and a finisher.
He's a complete player.
Yeah, he's an overall. He was the overall package. Some people, I know little man. He's on the chat. He'll probably throw out like, "Oh, Benzema." Yeah, Benzema's a great finisher. Great striker. But Benzema isn't creating. Benzema isn't pulling back. It's a lot of things. Or some people might still throw out a player like I can't even think. Luis Suarez. Suarez is getting old. Trust me, I love Suarez. But great finisher, clinical finisher. Can hold the ball up as a 9. But Suarez isn't creating. Suarez isn't giving you 15 assists a game, 15 assists a year. He isn't doing all that. And it's a shame that obviously Messi being the face of a sport, not just this league, but of a sport, entire sport. And when you lose that, you're gonna lose a lot of things from that. Obviously, I'm a Barcelona fan. A true Barcelona fan, so I'm still gonna watch Barcelona from week 1 to week 38.
Right. I get that.
I'm still watching that.
I get that.
Obviously, little man being a Madrid fan, he's gonna watch every Madrid game that's available to him.
That's
But
what's in heart. Yeah.
but as a global experience, people are not going to tune into Barcelona the way they used to. People don't tune into Real Madrid the way you used to when Cristiano Ronaldo was here. It's just a simple fact. You have a lot of fans who are fans of players more than they are fans of teams. You know, um, shit. Just think about David Beckham, who was who honestly hasn't played soccer in 6 years and still is one of the biggest names in soccer
Yeah.
because they know David Beckham. He's a face. He was the face before Messi and Ronaldo were.
Right. Right.
So it is what it is. It's the marketing team. It's the marketing system. And Messi, obviously, with his talents, propelled him to the front. And that's how he became the face of the franchise. And that's how you can go to any country in the world and say Messi, and everybody understands what you're talking about.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'll send it a link to Samaria Campos so he can log in and come in and comment, right? So he can say a few words about what he thinks about this. It's just people don't understand this. Like Messi is the biggest thing there is for soccer. Like, in its days for Pelé, in its days for Maradona, these are the faces that represent the sport, right? Just like it is in basketball, football, and I mean American football and in baseball, right? These are the players that are used and abused as a face. And that's why this is written in contracts, right? That we're going to use your face for whatever publicity we want to promote our sport, right? And so when you talk about soccer, okay, first of all, you talk about club, then you talk about the league, and then you talk about the world, right? Which is FIFA. Messi controls all of them. Yeah. Messi is the face of all of football at this point in our lives. And so whatever he does, wherever he moves, whatever decision, whatever comment he puts on Twitter, social media, or even any interview, whatever he says or takes a picture with somebody, we want to know. We need to know because this is what he's done to us. He's impacted us. It's part of our lives. We don't know Messi, but we feel that we know Messi. We feel that we met Messi. We feel that we have been living next to Messi all our lives because this is what being a fan is about.
And before we move on to our next topic, which is basically obviously what we think about Messi and PSG, Hattie in the chat says, unfortunately, La Liga does seem to be lacking players who can push or break records as well, unlike the English Premier League. Talaki Saga says PSG should win sextuple. And Padilla says, sorry, Real Madrid fans still look Real Madrid fan as the big team, even without Ronaldo, and Barcelona fans look as a big team without Messi. The thing about what Hattie says, is very true, and this is why the Premier League was always the bigger league from the Liga, even though La Liga had Cristiano Ronaldo, Luis Suarez, Lionel Messi. They had the big players, right? But overall, as a league, the Premier League was always bigger because not just because of the tradition, but because the teams were a lot more closer to each other. There was no just a 2-horse race all the time, of who's going to win the league. Because you can go down. I can think of the Premier League. I can give you a handful of names who I think the best player could be in the Premier League. Not like right now with the Liga. I'm struggling to think, oh man, who really is like the best player?
No, but the thing about La Liga is, other than Barcelona and Real Madrid, maybe even Atletico, then you don't talk about any other players. Yeah. In Premier League, you talk about every team because even last place can beat first place, right? Premier League is a whole nother level of competition.
Yeah. But so moving on from that, man, guys. So obviously we're about to walk into the next chapter of Lionel Messi's soccer career, and that's obviously going to be in Paris Saint-Germain with his buddy Neymar, Angel Di Maria, Leonardo Paredes, who he obviously just finished winning the Copa America with those three guys. Kylian Mbappe, Marquinhos, Sergio Ramos. I mean, dude, the list just goes on. This Paris Saint-Germain team is just stacked beyond.
Ramos,
exactly,
his best friend.
So obviously it's Champions League or nothing, right? This season it's basically, hey, this they need to be lifting up the Champions League at the end of May, 2022. Your thoughts? I mean, what do you think this is going to be a quick, like, oh man, this team is going to get off to a quick start and just dominate, or do you think it's going to take a little bit of getting used to, and maybe we're clowning them for like the first 2-3 months and then they pull it together January? What do you think the expectations are really for Paris Saint-Germain, Fidel? Oh, Aurelio, go ahead, Aurelio.
Well, I'm like I think they should have no problem getting off to a start. I'm like, what kind of real competition can they really have? I'm
in the
like,
league.
having them not win the league last season is to honestly, it's a fluke to me. Because there should be no excuse for them not to win the league last year.
Yeah,
So I'm like, there's definitely not no excuse for them not to win it this year. Um,
and people forget that.
yeah, I'm like, it's just something. I'm like, I'm not gonna, I can't really compare one league to the other because I'm like, you can't. But I'm like, it's hard not to see them, I guess, succeed. But I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised. They might have a couple games here and there where they might struggle just because of timing, understanding this and that. But besides that, I'm like, I don't think they should have much trouble.
Fidel on the chat had he's asked what's your thoughts on starting lineup with Messi and someone needs to see the bench. What are your thoughts on the starting lineup? What formation do you think you would use?
Man, let me tell you something. I think this is a lot of pressure for Pochettino. I think PSG should take anything and everything, and if they don't go undefeated the whole season, we'll be like, what? I mean, it must be like exhaustion or something, right? Because of schedule, whatever. Like Aurelio said, but man, there's a player in PSG. I don't even know if he's still there, but I love so much Kurosawa, bro. Like people underestimate Kurosawa, but Kurosawa is a beast, bro. I think PSG is loaded with talent, and I just don't think coaches really use them adequately. I don't think they use them correctly, right? So you think about this, right? Mbappe is hella fast.
Mm-hmm.
To me, Mbappe is not a 9, he's an 11.
But he,
Neymar, to me, Neymar is an 11, right? Messi, everybody says Messi likes to play the 9 position. But Messi's actually an 11. He's a creator and he's a finisher,
or a
right?
10 or a
Or
10.
a 10, or a 10, right? So what do? So do you put, let me explain. Do you put Neymar, Mbappe, and then Messi, and then Di Maria on the wing, or do you put Neymar, Mbappe, Di Maria, and Messi, or do you put Neymar, Mbappe, Messi, or do you put Neymar, Messi, Mbappe? I mean, there's so many options here, right? But again, the coaching strategy is this: you put him in practice, you have him scrimmage, and you see what really works for you, right? Messi always wanted to be in the middle as a true 9. But Messi is not a 9. Messi is he's a winger. He's on the side creating, if not giving the pass, if not scoring, right? Messi, that's why Barcelona was so lethal with Suarez, because Suarez was a true 9, Neymar was a true 11, and Messi was a true 11 on the other wing, and they were both creating on both sides. You can't close down both sides unless you have a very lethal defense. You can't. Messi
Yeah.
was tearing that up on one side, crossed the ball to the other side, and Neymar was killing it on the other side. And then I mean Suarez was just capping on rebounds and just finishing, bro. So that's what I'm talking about. What is Mbappe gonna be the black horse and be sacrificed and be used as a true 9? Which in reality, I think his speed is really for an 11, right? Or are
Yeah.
you gonna put Messi as a 9 and put Neymar and Mbappe in the wings? It's complicated. You really got to figure out what's going to work for them, and if it's going to work for them. And to be honest with you, it's going to have to be a 3-4-3 because Di Maria, even though they use him as a forward sometimes, he's going to have to play as a wingman, right?
A
As
wingman,
a
yeah.
provider, right? He can't be in the bench.
Yeah.
Di Maria is too valuable to be in the
You
bench.
put me personally, you put Messi on the right, Neymar on the left, Mbappe in the middle,
But you
and
know, it's
you play 4-3-3.
but you know, it's true what Fidel says. The thing is, the exceptional thing about Mbappe is that you have that velocity and that speed. The thing about being a 9 in that system, if you're gonna make Mbappe the AKA Suarez of this PSG, is that Suarez is able to hold up the ball in the box. Mbappe doesn't. Mbappe can't do that. I don't think Mbappe has the talent to hold the ball like that, like Suarez does. Nor does he have the physicality like Suarez does. He doesn't have that built. So obviously you're going to lose a lot of advantages by having Mbappe in the middle instead of having him on the wing. Which, to be honest, in my opinion, I like the 3-4-3 formation that you speak of, but I think mine would be having Messi as a false 9, and then having Mbappe and Neymar on the wings. Obviously, and having Di Maria and Verratti as my far wing backs or whatever, or my left wing and right wing back or whatever, however you want to call that position, whatever. Um, and then with obviously like when not and other uh Partis or playing the DM role. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a carousel up that front three, to be honest. But I think for them to start off, I think, to be honest, I would prefer Messi as a false nine with Mbappe on the left and Neymar on the right, or vice versa. It doesn't matter whichever side they want to play. Both of them play both sides.
That sounds to me like a 3-5-2, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, well, or a 3-4-1-2. So something like that. With Messi maybe playing the 10 and having and then having Mbappe and Neymar as a two forward setup in the back. But like I said, again, you're losing the velocity from both players if you have a two forwards front. But Samir says on the chat, Aurelio, the league is growing. The teams are not pushovers anymore. French teams are producing a lot of talent. Tolaki Sagar, man, what's up, man? I've never seen you before, but appreciate you checking out on the
Thanks a
show.
lot, bro.
Neymar can play like Griezmann. Hattie says Marcel has a really good transfer window as far as signing young players from great teams across the top Euro League clubs. If anybody can pull up a fight, it would be Marcel or reigning champ Lily.
Marseille is my team from France, bro, and they really picked up some really good talent.
They've had a busy summer.
them loans from Arsenal, yeah, definitely.
No, but they also took the kid from the U.S. from Barcelona. What's his name?
Conde de la Fuente.
Yeah. He's really good.
Samir says they will change positions with each other and cause even more headaches to the defense. That's true. See, that's another thing that obviously we're having such an athletic front.
Man, those teams are still pushovers.
Hattie says, yeah, I agree with Mark on the lineup. Messi can definitely realize the front three, especially in how they lacked the last 2 years. Messi, this guy says Messi should play center back.
No, it's not happening.
No, but the fact of the matter is that the French league, with all the respect to them, obviously Lily winning the championship last year, Marcel having a great summer transfer window with Jorge Sampaoli, who I'm familiar with a lot because he was the ex-Argentine coach prior to the current one right now. They brought in a lot of talent, man. They're trying to compete with
William Saliba and Guendouzi.
Saliba, Guendouzi, Conrad de la Fuente, the American kid that came from Barcelona.
Guendouzi, Sideshow Bob 2.0.
Sideshow Bob 2.0. And then obviously, Gerson, the Brazilian that came in as well. And a couple of guys from Roma, Paul Lopez to be new goalkeeper, and Insigne under to be I believe he's a winger. I'm not too sure. I gotta
loaded, bro. It's loaded. It's happening, bro.
For sure. But obviously, what Paris Saint-Germain is doing is just crazy. What they've been able to accomplish this summer it's crazy.
Hey, let me say something. COVID did this. Did this.
Yeah. Like I said, man, to think about it, to be, a multiverse type of thinking or whatever, or think outside the box type of guy. If COVID never happened, dude, to be honest, Bartomeu might still be president in Barcelona.
Right.
It's a crazy thought to have, And
Messi might still be gone because of Bartomeu, right?
Yeah, exactly, because the tension was still there. They knew what was going on. It just, the thing is that, it's crazy. Winning covers everything.
Yeah.
When you're winning, that it doesn't matter what's happening in the background. A lot of stupid shit can be happening in the background, but if you're winning and you're bringing in titles, you're bringing in trebles, you're winning 5 trophies a year, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, for sure. So,
but guys, obviously, this the English show, it's obviously a little bit more abbreviated than the Spanish version we had. I know that this topic is a huge topic, something that we honestly didn't expect to be here on. Obviously, when Thursday hit around, the world kind of stopped a little bit when Messi and Barcelona couldn't get this deal done. But we appreciate y'all here being on with us. It's 10 o'clock at night here in Houston. When we have an active chat, man, we appreciate it. Jacob just showed up to the party. What's up, man? Sama, Hattie, Sager, guys, appreciate the love and the follow. Please, as you see on our screen, we have a brand new Twitter at @LaBanca_podcast. Please, follow us, give us a follow. We update everything there constantly, daily. All the big news. Obviously, it's a lot loaded with Messi and PSG right now, but a lot of other big news as well. Leicester City obviously winning the Community Shield this past weekend. Shout out to those guys. Tomorrow, obviously, a huge match between Fidel's beloved Chelsea versus Fidel's beloved Villarreal. The battle for Fidel's heart is tomorrow in the UEFA Super Cup. So we'll have our regularly scheduled show on Thursday. So please, if you can come out, check us out. Spanish show first, then English show afterwards. But before we go, guys, anything you want to say before we leave?
No, sir. I'm good. I'm like, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here with us for our special for today, and hope to see you guys Thursday.
For
Yeah, I
sure.
want to say a few things that before we go. I want to say a few things that our fans are up to. Haiti says been involved a lot today. By the way, thanks a lot. The wonderful transfer window, Hakimi for only 56 million. That's a good price for a right back, mid back. The one that Serie A at only 24 years old. I mean, that's amazing. You're right. Samario Campos says Aurelio, take the top 5 teams from France and the top 5 teams from Spain. And who do you think looks better now, right? I mean, that's a pretty good topic to talk about.
I don't even know if I can name you 5 teams from France.
Yeah, really.
That's bad. That's bad. That's bad. You're all about the English Premier League, so I know you.
Yeah, my man's Arsenal all the way. I know.
Yeah.
I was gonna respond to him, but I'm like, nah, I'm just
Nah,
leave it
it's
alone.
not worth your trouble. And then Jacob Ramos says that's why Europe and Champions League belongs to La Liga, because they stay very competitive and all that. Luis Padilla says TikTok, August 31st, Mbappe. I doubt it, bro. I really doubt it.
I doubt
But
it.
if it goes down, we'll
Mr.
throw a
I'm in
party at your
pain.
house.
I don't feel good, but he's still in the chat, huh?
He's still in the chat.
Uh-huh.
He's drunk, but he's still in the chat.
Uh-huh.
Samuel Campos says, Padilla, how many transfer windows are going to pass until you get him? You keep saying next one. And I hope that finally you get him so you can stop being thirsty and chasing after Mbappe. Hey, if things go really well for Mbappe this season, he's going to renew with PSG because of Messi. That's it. That's all I'm saying. And then Haiti says Mbappe is not leaving this season. Who'd miss the opportunity to play with Messi? Nobody. You got to be stupid unless you want to go to La Liga and win an easy title.
I'm like, as a business wise, you got to be careful, because I'm like, if they can't get a contract before now and the beginning of January,
That's
you
it.
can sign for wherever he wants for free.
That's right.
But look, before we go, like this is where PSG shows their smartness, right? If they lose Mbappe on the free, which will be devastating because they could get such a big transfer fee for him if they sold him tomorrow or whatever, right? But think about the players that they've received free. Like I mentioned earlier, Donnarumma, free, 21 years old, who they can sell later on, who probably will be the biggest goalkeeper of the next decade. Who knows?
Right.
Obviously the whole what Messi brings in money wise as far as sponsorship, jersey sales. Hey, I already purchased my PSG number 30. It's on the way.
It's $180, bro.
It's on the way. So I mean, that's it's a lot of money moves here. Obviously, we see all the money that goes out with PSG and how much money is spent, but they're not stupid. They get money come back in. So
They have money coming back in, but you're letting probably your future walk away for free.
Yeah, you got to invest in that.
Just for a year or two. Like I said, business wise, they need to be careful because it could hurt them in the long run.
Yep.
hey, right now they're looking like the biggest club in the world. So we'll see.
Yeah, and if they don't do something about it, it'd be in a couple years. It'd be the biggest idiot club in the world.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But guys, like I said, we mentioned again, thank you for joining us, and hopefully we see y'all Thursday.
Hit us up on Twitter.
For sure. La Banca Podcast _. La Banca _ podcast.
Here we go.